Now, I'm not one to gossip, but I will bring you the tea. Welcome to Chronicle Speaks.
Please, I don't have any time for any gossip now. Eh? Yes.
So we have all been tuned into the Shirley, Strawberry, and Ernesto saga since this summer, and it's honestly been like our own little reality show, and everyone seems to be waiting for the next episode. Well, today we will give you an update on this saga, break down all of your questions, and more. But before we do, please be sure to subscribe to this channel and hit the bell for notifications so you don't miss out on any news regarding this case and so much more. Now let's get back into it. So Mr. Ernest Williams has been incarcerated for the past 455 days, and he's looking to get bond very soon. So Ernest was arrested on July 7th, 2022, and he was arrested in Fulton County. He stayed in Fulton County up until 9/20 of 2022. Since then, he's been in the Cobb County Jail where he has sat for the past 372 days. Now, since his incarceration, he has been waiting for bond. But as time progressed, Ernest has gone from having one case to having 9. And with that, your bond increases, and sometimes he has had no bond at all. Now, out of the 9 open cases that Ernest had, 2 of those cases have been closed due to nolle pros, which pretty much translate to they no longer wish to prosecute. Now, the first case where a nolle pros was issued was a case ending in 4402 where Ernesto went to Palmer Dodge with one of his assistants. He brought in his 2012 Charger to be repaired. They repaired it. He paid them a check for $2,774.80, and that check bounced. They kept looking for him. He said he was out of town. He had 10 days to repay it, and he never did. They informed the authorities, and then bam, he was hit with charges. Now, that case is small potatoes compared to what he has coming down the pipeline, but we'll get into that in a second. Now, the next case that was closed due to nolle pros was theft by taking and operating a credit repair company. Now, Mr. Calvin was told by Mr. Ernest that Mr. Ernest could repair his credit. Mr. Calvin paid him, but the credit was never repaired. Ernest was charged with theft by taking, theft by deception, and operating a credit repair company. So these 2 charges show nolle pros, and this one shows a NPGJ, which is what prosecutors use to dismiss a case prior to charges being filed. So now we have 7 open cases and a plethora of charges, but 7 open cases. And out of those 7 open cases, Ernest has a bond for all but 1. Now, this case ending in 9961, which is the one for aggravated battery, the R word, aggravated sodomy, sexual battery, and trafficking a person for sexual servitude, has a split bond for $50,000. So for all of those charges, only one of them has a bond. He's looking for a bond for the rest of them. So his first public defender asked to be taken off of the case. He does now have a new public defender, and that public defender is requesting a bond for all of the other charges, stating that he possesses no risk of fleeing or failure to appear in court. He's no danger to the community, and he's not going to commit any further felonies or tamper with any of the witnesses. Now, this particular bond hearing is set for October 17th, 2023. We'll see what happens. Now, who is going to pay this bond is the question. Now, Shirley is allegedly out of the picture, and it's talks that Sonia has backed away as well. But let's get into some things about your boy Ernesto. Now, it seems as though my speculation is correct about Ernest having a home beside his mistress and co-defendant, Miss Ericka King Hughley Rothschild, and it has been proven by police records. Now, if you recall, I did a video on July 2nd stating that Ernest has been hiding his mistress in plain sight. The home that Ernest and Shirley were most recently evicted from is right beside the home that Ericka stayed in, the co-defendant. And she was evicted from that one as well. Now, on July 7th, Ernest was arrested for having an outstanding warrant for theft by deception. Now, he had been renting a home at 980 Pine Grove Road, and with that, he had not been paying rent. And the landlord, Mr. Mark, filed a report with Roswell Police Department stating that Ernest owed them $26,000. And Mark believed that there was illicit activity going on at the house on 980 Pine Grove Road because there were multiple vehicles sitting in the driveway. There was a Bentley, there were 2 Harley Davidsons, there was an ambulance. Wait a minute, what? and Mr. Mark stated that he conducted a walkthrough of the home per the rental agreement and stated that there was no furniture in the home and the home looked as if no one lived there, but the tenants have been living there for 3 months. So the officer began an investigation into the case and conducted a search warrant subsequent to Williams' arrest on his vehicles, which is registered to his wife, Shirley Strawberry, which was a white 2017 Ford F-350 dually truck, assigned Georgia license plate, blah, 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 vehicle identification number redacted. While conducting the search, there were multiple items seized, including a GTAC computer, an iPhone, a black bag with various documents. Other items included in the vehicle were 2 black dildos, a black mask with zips, and liquid Viagra. Through further investigation of the documents, it was found that the Bentley was in repossession as Williams had stopped paying for the car note and other documents, which prompted us to obtain search warrants for 980 Pine Grove Road as well as 990 Pine Grove, which was where co-defendant of the case, Ericka King, was living. Now, Ericka and Ernest have been friends, according to Ericka, for 20 years, although Shirley doesn't know her. Ericka posed as an attorney last year to try to get him out of jail during one of his incarcerations. She posed as an attorney named April Holloway, which she looks nothing like, but we'll talk about that in another story. These two were alleged neighbors, but we don't know if they were sharing a little bit more than tea and crumpets. Now, knowing your boy Ernesto and seeing his type, it's not far-fetched that he probably couldn't keep his Johnson in his pants when it comes to Ericka either. But I digress. Now, while the house was vacant, there was an ambulance at the house, and I do remember a call where Ernest said that Shirley was in the back of the ambulance posing with some candles, and her friend said it was ghetto.
Some girl, she was, you're going to post that one with the candles sitting in the ambulance. She said, don't post that because you look ghetto.
She works for the station. She doesn't work for me.
Though the house was vacant and Shirley may not have been living in the property, Shirley was served with documents about the property and about the eviction. But once again, I digress. Now, we are going to jump back and forth from document to document. I'm going to make this all make sense, but let's get into the next. Now, on June 9, 2022, Officer D. Ramuno spoke to Mr. Mark regarding suspicious activity at 980 Pine Grove Road. Mr. Mark advised that his renter or renters at 980 Pine Grove Road have never paid rent, and he and his wife Elena are suspicious that their residence was fraudulently leased, and they are not sure who is occupying their residence. Ramuno contacted Officer Fields to have her drive by the residence and check for vehicles. Fields subsequently drove by and identified the following vehicles' license plates. She found 2 temporary Georgia tags which were registered to a 2012 Pierce TG, the color red, registered to Ernesto's Elite Private Security and issued on May 10th, 2022. Mark and Elena met with Fields outside the residence, and to their request, Fields stood by so they could document the vehicles parked in the driveway. Officer Fields remained at the end of the driveway while Mark and Elena took pictures of the vehicles and the Georgia license plates displayed. In addition to the temporary Georgia tag, Elena provided Fields with the following Georgia license plates, which have been redacted, displayed on a black Bentley issued on 4/1/2022 to a 2014 Bentley Mulsanne. VIN number redacted, registered to an Ernest L. Williams, date of birth January 9th, 1965. Address redacted. Vehicle has been parked at 980 and 990 Pine Grove Road. They also found a black 2020 Harley Davidson, which was registered to a Miss Regina. I will redact her last name. And they also found a blue 2021 Harley Davidson, which was registered to Miss Olivia. And I'm redacting her last name as well because they both are victims. Now, Ernesto's Elite Private Security was registered to 1130 Bluffs Parkway. And it is revealed that that address is associated with Cherokee County administrative offices, and detectives contacted administrative personnel at the following phone number and learned that the building located at 1130 Bluffs Parkway is owned by Cherokee County, Georgia government, and only Cherokee administrative services are located within. No private businesses are allowed. Now, a search of the Georgia Secretary of State reveals that Ernesto's Elite Private Security LLC has a registered agent by the name of Brianna, and the organizer is Ernest Williams. The principal office is 2979 Peachtree Road, and the filing date is listed as March 8th. 2021. I would like for you to know that Brianna is a victim as well. So Ernest has been allegedly busy, allegedly victimizing people. Now, on Friday, June 10th, 2022, Gooden interviewed Mark and Elena at the Roswell Police Department. And during that interview, Mark advised that during February of 2022, he was contacted by Miss Candy about leasing his residence to her employers, who she referred to as famous people. Now, y'all stick with me on this. Candy was trying to lease 980, but Candy was currently leasing 990, and that's the house that Ericka was staying in, but Ericka and Candy are not the same person. Or are they? Stick around to find out. Now, Mark advised that Candy leases the house next to him at 990 Pine Grove Road and handle all negotiation for the prospective tenants, including rent, repairs, painting to the interior of the house, and the replacement of 3 air conditioning units. Now, Mark advised that Candy, on behalf of the prospective renters who he had not met, agreed to a down payment of the first and last month rent at $6,500 per month for a total of $13,000. Painting and repairs to the interior of the house at Candy's request, and arranging for the replacement of 3 air conditioning units at the cost of $13,000 to be paid by the renter. Now, Candy further informed Mark and Elena that she was the point of contact for all business related to the lease of 980 Pine Grove Road, and that Mark and Elena should not contact the occupants. Candy provided her phone number as blank. Mark and Elena provided a copy of the lease agreement that stated that the tenants were Black Heritage Radio Trust, Inc., and the occupants as Ernesto Williams, Shirley Sheridan Strawberry, Sheridan Jules Strawberry, and 2 minor children ages 7 and 12. The lease was signed by tenants Sheridan Strawberry and Ernesto Williams on March 15, 2022, and landlord Mark on March 16, 2022.
Because they kept telling her, you know, they have her name is on some documents, just like they told me. And it's like, of course, your name is going to be on some stuff. You lived at our house. Your kids lived at our house. So anyway, she went down there. I don't know what she said. I don't know what was asked of her, but she doesn't understand that they were trying to trick her. She doesn't get that part of it. She just wanted to know what it was, and she was scared because I guess they kept calling her, you know.
Mark advised that he has seen the Bentley discussed above in paragraph 2 and a white Rolls Royce at 990 Pine Grove Road, which they have listed as Candy and her husband James's residence. However, we did see in other documentation that Ericka lived in that house. Now, whether she lived with them, I don't know. On March 18, 2022, Mark met with Candy at 980 Pine Grove Road to receive the agreed upon deposit in cash. Instead, Candy provided him with an envelope that contained a check in the amount of $13,000 to be drawn on a Wells Fargo account dated March 22, 2022 on Friday, March 18, 2022. Mark advised that Candy told him not to deposit the check for approximately 5 days. The check was signed by Tammy Strong, and Strawberry deposit was written in the foreline. Mark advised that the check did not clear and was returned for non-sufficient funds. As agreed, Mark had Season Comfort Heating and Air Conditioning replace the air conditioning units at a cost of $13,000 as agreed by Candy on behalf of the tenants. The invoice was sent to her. Because Mark arranged for and contracted with Seasons Comfort, Candy was instructed to settle the debt with them. Seasons Comfort Heating and Air received a check in the amount of $13,000 dated April 6, 2022. The account holder was listed as Black Heritage Radio Association. The routing and account number have both been redacted, with the bank listed as Urban Trust Bank. The check signature was similar to that of what appeared on the lease tenant signature as Ernesto Williams. The memo line read, System Replacements 980 Pine Grove Road, and the check came back as what? Non-sufficient funds. Now, a lot of you have been asking, how are they getting homes over and over again? Aren't these people seeing their tenant history? You have Candy going around speaking for the two, telling people you can't talk to them. I'm going to have the money set for you. It's big time famous people. That's all that you need to get in these houses, but they're not paying. Now, Mark ended up paying for the 3 air conditioning units. I wouldn't have. Hey, y'all promised to do it. Y'all got to get y'all butts up out of here. Now, on several occasions, Mark had approached Candy about the bad checks and the arrears. Candy continued to avoid payment and has shown large sums of USC, United States currency, in her possession, in her person, and in pictures. Candy has also sent Mark pictures of the alleged banking transfers in the amount of $9,950 from her Wells Fargo account ending in 2901 to his account ending in 0962 with confirmation code. Now, the transfers were never completed, but in addition, Kandi has sent Mark a picture of the Bank of America cashier's check in the amount of $26,300 to the order of Mark, and the remitter listed as Black Heritage Radio Association, TR. Now, the remainder of the remitter information was obscured by a credit or debit card, and the account and routing number was obscured by a blanket or sheet-style material. Also in the frame with the picture was at least 4 bundles of United States currency. Now, Gooden asked Mark if he was familiar with the owners of 990 Pine Grove Road, which was Kandi's residence. And Mark provided Gooden with the owner's information, which was Mr. Larry, and he gave him his phone number. Now, Gooden made contact with Larry, and Larry agreed to meet with Gooden at the Roswell Police Department. Now, during that meeting, Larry advised that Kandi is currently in arrears for a rent in the amount of $13,500. Now, on January 13, 2022, James and Kandi signed a lease for 990 Pine Grove Road that began on January 15, 2022, and it is set to end February 29, 2024. So not only was 980 not getting paid for, 990 wasn't getting paid for either. Now, Mr. Larry gave the number to Kandi and to James. You remember James is Kandi's husband. And he also said that Tammy Strong was listed as the broker, and they listed her phone number and email address. Tammy Strong also was listed in affiliation with Greater Greenville Board of Realtors. They gave the address. Larry paid Tammy $1,000 finder's fee to her Zelle account, which was a Bank of America account. They have the information listed there. Now, Kandi paid the first and second month rent at $4,200 per month and the security deposit of $5,500. But since that time, Kandi has not paid any rent as agreed, except for the following. Larry received a check from Kandi in the amount of $4,450 on April 6, 2022, paid to the order of Larry. The account holder was listed as Kandi. The routing number was listed as blank, and the account number was listed as blank, with the bank listed as Urban Trust Bank. The memo read April rent and gas bill reimbursement. The check was returned by Larry's bank for non-sufficient funds. Of note, the check was drawn by Urban Trust Bank, account number blank, were issued on the same date with different account holder information listed that directly linked suspected illegal activity to the occupants at 980 and 990 Pine Grove Road. Also of note, Tammy Strong was the signature on the checks discussed above in paragraph 6, and Gooden determined that the two signatures match. On June 10th, 2022, Mark contacted Gooden and advised that he and Elena received a cease and desist letter on the letterhead of Goldberg Sutton LLP and signed by Eileen Moorman, attorney at law. Wealth Management Division, Lucid Trust, Goldman Sutton LLP. The phone number was listed as blank and the email listed as blank. Open source records return current negative results and does not show a history of association with Eileen Moorman on Goldman Sutton LLP. Gooden did find that the phone number is a voice over internet provider issued by Pinger. Additionally, the Goldberg Sutton LLP letterhead listed 1075 Peachtree Road, Suite 3650, Atlanta, Georgia, as one of their 4 office locations. Gooden contacted building security for 1075 Peachtree and learned that they do not have and have not had a tenant at their location known as Goldberg Sutton LLP or Lucid Trust Goldberg Sutton LLP. Additionally, Gooden contacted Eileen Moorman, a Georgia licensed attorney and listed with the Georgia Bar Association. Eileen advised the following: she did not author the above discussed letter, and she is not familiar with or associated with Goldberg Sutton LLP or Lucid Trust Goldberg Sutton LLP, and she has not maintained, used, or affiliated herself with the following phone number. So it looks like Kandi and her husband were able to get houses for not only Ericka, but get a house for Ernest as well. Ernest ended up getting the house and having Sheridan's name on the lease agreement instead of his wife Shirley. However, he did have Shirley's car parked outside, as well as an ambulance, as well as a Bentley, as well as Harley Davidsons, and they were parked at both the 990 Pine Grove and the 980 Pine Grove Road. So I did a little snooping, and I wanted to look into not only Kandi but her husband James as well to find out, are they getting locked up? Child, why Kandi don't exist? Why is Kandi Ericka? When I tell you her and Ernesto are two of a kind, I understand why they've known each other for 20 years, why they've gotten along for 20 years, and why Ernest is so upset that she done flipped on him, because when I tell you he had that girl mind warped. When I pull up the incident report and look up the suspects for 990 Pine Grove Road, James comes up and Ericka comes up. There is no Kandi because Kandi does not exist. they made her up. Ericka ended up getting evicted in June, and that's okay because she ended up getting locked up the next month and stayed there for 8 months before getting out. And then Ernest ended up getting locked up in July as well. These two are two of a kind. I'm not sure exactly what they had going on, but I'm sure inquiring minds would like to know. Now, I've heard nothing as far as an annulment or a divorce go on between Ernesto and Shirley, but I'm hoping something is going to be in the works very soon. Now what I need to do is hear from you. What do you think about all of this drama surrounding Shirley Strawberry and Ernesto Williams? What do you think about Miss Ericka, faking the funk, trying to make it seem like she was with Mr. James, child? Leave a comment, and you know how we do. We'll talk about it down below. I can't wait to see y'all in the comments. See y'all later. Bye. As always, thanks for watching. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button, hit that like button, and hit that bell so you don't miss any of my new episodes.